What do you eat when you're intermittent fasting? Let's talk about that. This is a question I get asked a lot, which is, what do you eat when you're intermittent fasting? And I always tell people, whatever I want, and this is kind of an interesting thing that I've seen. A lot of people tend to think that you have to do a certain way of eating with intermittent fasting. And I have found that to be not the case at all for me. You don't have to do keto. I've never done keto with intermittent fasting, and I've lost 80 pounds and I've kept it off by still continuing to eat all the foods. In fact, I think that's the best thing about intermittent fasting is that you can eat whatever you want to eat. You can learn how to eat all the foods and still lose weight and keep it off. Now, when I say that, I don't want you to think that I just like gorge myself on food at my meal. That's not what I do at all. In fact, intermittent fasting has helped me to basically relearn how to eat. Back in 2014, the way I ate until I was miserable and I would scarf down food and I was eating all the time. But intermittent fasting has taught me how to just eat food and to sit down to a meal and to really enjoy it. Instead of trying to focus on exactly what to eat, I would encourage you to do these things because this is what has helped me more than anything. I never had a meal plan. I don't post meal plans either. And I don't really, share what all I eat because I feel like it's just, it's a very individual thing and different people feel better eating certain types of food. So instead, I focus, first of all, on not emotionally eating. I am always very careful to make sure that when I sit down to the meal, I'm in a good frame of mind and I sit there and I just enjoy the food and I'm not stressed out and I'm just eating. I don't eat because I'm bored or because I'm upset. I also focused a lot on how I felt both right after the meal and how I felt the next day during my fasting window. And what I learned from that for me personally was that I don't do well when it's high in any particular thing. So in other words, like a very, very high carb meal with say no protein, no fat, I don't do well the next day. But the same is true for me for very high protein meals with, very low fat and very low carb. I don't do well with that. But I learned that simply by experimenting with it and seeing what I felt best with. And I would encourage you to do the same thing. Figure out the types of foods that make you feel good the next day and that make you feel good throughout your entire fasting window. I do best when I have pretty much high everything, plenty of fat, plenty of carbs, and plenty of protein. But I don't measure or count any of that stuff. I just kind of, figured out what works for me. Ultimately, for me, this is about sustainability. What can I do for the rest of my life? And back in 2014, I realized that, looking back on my entire life, I can get rid of certain foods for the short term. I can give up cake for a while, but eventually cake comes back into my life. Same with gravy and biscuits or country fried steak. I love all the foods and I wanted to learn how to eat them and lose weight and keep it off. And that's what I've loved about intermittent fasting is that it's been the tool that helped me to do that. But I would encourage you figure out what works for you, what will be sustainable over the long term, and then do that thing. Figure out how you can eat those foods that you want to eat and still lose the weight and keep it off. If I can do it, anybody can. So I'm curious to know, what have you found with your eating? Do you allow yourself all the foods, or have you found that certain types of foods just don't agree with you with intermittent fasting? Thank you for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you found it helpful. If you're currently trying to lose weight and you're just having a hard time, check out my Slow and Steady Success Academy. There you'll find a course called Intermittent Fasting for Weight Loss 101, where I take you through the entire process from start to finish and how to implement intermittent fasting successfully in your life for weight loss. The link is in the description. The All Access Pass to Slow and Steady Success Academy is a monthly subscription plan that gets you access to every course that is currently available in this academy, as well as any that will become available in the future. Also, you'll get access to our private All Access Pass members only Facebook group.